If you own a business, you may have started to think about the day that you get out of that business, perhaps giving it to your family members, transferring it to employees, or even possibly selling your business to an outside investor. This is Brian Stevens with the Sell a Business series on things you should know. And today's topic is about confidentiality and why you should care about confidentiality. It can have a big impact in terms of the way you successfully sell your business. Now, I always advise people, we're not attorneys, we're not accountants, we're not giving legal advice and that sort of thing, and also know what your state and local jurisdictions are. Sometimes the people that can help you have certain licenses that are required. Just make sure that they're in that right position if you get some help from outside people. And I always recommend, build a team. If you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go far, you want to make a lot of money, you want to do it well, go together. Okay. Anyway, why this is important, and I'm doing this series because I know a lot of people go to sell their business and they really have struggles. I know people all the time, they're saying, hey, I got a buyer, my employees, my customers, my competitor, my supplier, they're going to buy me out. And many, many times it just doesn't work out the way that they thought, or doesn't work out at all. That's probably why this article in Forbes magazine comes out in 2016 showing business on the marketplace, 90% never sell. I think that number is a little on the high side, but if you look at Exit Planning Institute, even look at some of the data that you see on some of these websites that are trying to sell businesses and advertise businesses for sale, you're going to see it's closer to 70 or 80%, but that's still a pretty big factor number. So it's important to be prepared, do it right, and get yourself organized. Now, we're talking about confidentiality, and it's a choice. Not everybody says that they have to have confidentiality or require it. Sometimes the employees expect it, especially when people have been around for a long time, and they figure at some point you got to get out of there and have some fun, enjoy all the money you've made over the years. And customers might not even care. Competitors might even want to find out about it so they could possibly buy you out. But more often than not, people are going to say, wait a second, I want to have control over the information. I don't want the world talking all about it. And so people will run ads or advertisements, or they work with brokers like ourselves and intermediaries, and they create a big marketing campaign and program, and they sell their business through that process. But the first thing we do is we run ads, and then we, when people inquire about it, we have them sign a confidentiality agreement. This is a copy of one I use here in Florida. We're part of the Business Brokers of Florida. So if you inquired about one of our listings here in Florida, and we do work outside of the state of Florida for sure, but if you did that, you'd see a form like this, and it talks about the prospect understanding the dealings, and it's handled by the broker, and the information is, to be secure and private, etc. And for the next 2 years, they can't go around the broker. But this is geared a little bit towards helping the brokers for sure, but it's also very much, telling them they can't go out and take pictures or talk to the employees or do all those type of things that sometimes buyers unintentionally, spill the beans, so to speak, on the business. Now, one of the main people that people say, well, I don't think I want them to know, are the employees. Now, keep in mind that you might have the right person in your employment that is ready to buy your business, and you may know that. They would probably be, having the right leadership skills, have some ambition, probably have saved some money up so they can buy the business and acquire it and pay for it. So if you do that, the important thing to do is to try and take that employee to the side one time in a private room and just say, hey, I was just wondering, we're thinking someday down the road, I don't know how far down the road, we're thinking possibly selling our business or getting out. And if we were, would you be one of the people that we should talk to if we got to that point? Would you be interested? Do you have the wherewithal? What's your long-term plans? And oh, by the way, would you mind signing this confidentiality agreement? That way we can even share with you some details about how the business is performing, et cetera. We want to make sure that you also understand that's so important that we don't have this conversation outside of our office with anybody else but ourselves and you. We want to keep everything confidential. Okay? Otherwise, people will find out, and a lot of times they worry that the employers are going to find out and maybe start looking for jobs elsewhere. They get paranoid and worried. This happens sometimes it doesn't. They also might have a different level of commitment to the business and maybe not work as hard if they think that you're on the way out. So employees is one of the categories of individuals people don't want them to know. Another category are customers. Early on in the process, years ago when I got in this business, I was at a Chamber of Commerce event and met with one of the chamber members who shared the story. And it goes somewhere along the lines that an individual had looked at buying a restaurant in the area. And they'd signed a confidentiality agreement and had been informed about confidentiality, but they also had broken English. They maybe didn't fully understand, and they probably had no wrong intentions. But after meeting with the owner of the restaurant, they went to the local Chamber of Commerce because they knew that was one of the customers that the restaurant had dealt with. And they said, hey, I'm thinking about buying this restaurant, want to get your opinion on whether it's a good investment or not. Now, the concern that the Chamber of Commerce suddenly had was that it was close to Christmas time, and they had been planning, like they had for many, many, many years, to use this restaurant to do their end-of-the-year banquet, and it was a kind of a big to-do, I guess. And so they called up the owner and shared, hey, you know, we were not so sure we want to have you work on our Christmas dinner if you're getting out of business. You know, we like it, but we know that you run it right, and we might go to a different member in our Chamber of Commerce collection because we heard that you're selling. And of course, they got it all worked out, but that's one of the reasons why customers, you know, probably shouldn't know the business is for sale. You know, they might immediately start looking at taking their business somewhere else, and they might feel abandoned. There's a lot of different reasons on there. So people generally say, hey, don't tell my customers. Now, this one's more of a stretch for some people. Not everybody is buying on credit. Some people are buying on 30, 60, 90-day terms, or they're getting some sort of special deal. But sometimes they get paranoid because they get worried that the creditor might say, hey, I heard you're for sale. My boss is kind of square, and he's been through this before and got kind of burned, and we hate to do this. It's kind of embarrassing, but we're going to have to ask you to catch up on all your debt to the company and then start paying cash for delivery from here on out. So creditors aren't always the best one to really give the word out to, and a lot of times people want to make sure that that's kept confidential from them as well. Another one are the suppliers. These are the greatest guys for the people that are visiting business after business, really have a great insight, and sometimes they're a good resource for us to say, hey, know anybody looking to sell their business? And they're like, oh my goodness, yes. They are great people, you know, just like anybody else, but sometimes they are out there trying to be helpful and sharing the word that the business is trying to find a new owner, and so they're talking to other owners to try and help, and all of a sudden the word gets all over the place, and the customers know, and the employees know, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, you know, sometimes suppliers are one. And the fifth category are the competitors. You know, sometimes they'll use rumors of your sale to woo over your customers. Hey, go take a look at the internet. You're going to see that so-and-so is for sale. You know, come hang with us. We're here for the long run. We're not going out of business. We're strong. We've been doing a good job. They might even try to woo over the employees. You know, hey, you know, come be part of our family. We hear your boss is getting out, and sometimes they paint it in the wrong light, say they're struggling. Now, at the same time, any of these categories of people could be individuals that would possibly buy your business. So keep in mind that quite often if they find out, you know, you should ask for them to please keep confidentiality. Maybe you can get them to sign a confidentiality agreement, and that way you could even share more information because maybe they want to buy your business, and that would be a really, 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 really cool thing. What if a breach happens? I just mentioned that the story with the gentleman who went to the Chamber of Commerce. When things happen, and we actually had this with a retail company, and my client had actually gone to his suppliers and said, hey, you know, keep it confidential on the lowdown. We're thinking of selling. Would any of you all like to buy it? And somehow, by mistake, word got back to one of the employees that the owner was selling the business. So the next step he took, since he was trying to keep it confidential for everyone, he did the right thing. First of all, he was honest. So he called and got his employees together. He took control of the situation, the information leak, and brought them together. They had a little meeting saying, look, I'm not going to be around forever. I'm in my 70s right now, and I need to retire at some point down the road. But I'm also at the process of searching for the right person to run this business. So I'm not rushing out of here. It's not like I'm sick. It's not like and we're having any challenges, except for the fact that at some point I'd like to enjoy some of the riches and go enjoy life. So, you know, and by the way, and I put this last bullet, you see the little blue bar out there that says share, that they're more likely to be even more needed. You know, he said to him, you know, we need you here. You're an important part of our group, and you always have been for as long as you've been here. If you're still around, and when the new person takes over, they're probably going to need you even more. So keep in mind that you're really going to be treasured and worthwhile. So he was honest. He took control of the situation, had a meeting. He, explained that he's searching just for the right person, not just trying to flip it for some money, and explained the importance of the employees to the new owner. Okay, so here's one other thought that happens is sometimes people go to buy a business. And I try to tell people to tell them up front when they're looking at buying a business that you're not going to get to talk to the employees until after the sale. Occasionally you get buyers and they're saying, hey, I think I really want to talk to the employees. And I think to myself as I think it over how strange it would be to be working somewhere and some stranger walk up to me and say, hey, if I bought this business, would you stick around? And I'd probably say, yeah, but after that I might get worried and wondering what kind of strange person they are, or start thinking about all those things about leaving the business, etc. And in general, we tell people to do the closing of the sale, have a meeting right afterwards, invite the employees in, and just say, hey, congratulations, I've sold my business, and you all now have a really great new boss. And then let the new boss talk and say, hey, I'm excited. We're going to do some cool things. I want to hear your ideas. We're going to try and grow this business and build it up and build on the legacy of the previous owner, and talk real positive and keep people wooed in and locked in and excited about the business opportunity. Okay, so anyway, that's the last tip I've got regarding confidentiality for the time being. If you are a business owner, you'd like to get a copy of the Business Seller Success Guide, you can just text us at 22828 and type in the word BuyBizUSA, all one word. That's our website. Even though our company is named Legacy Venture Group, we found BuyBizUSA was much easier to remember. You can see on here our phone numbers, including 833-BuyBiz1 or Brian at BuyBizUSA.com. And if you want to find more about us, you can find us on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Just type in BuyBizUSA. There's a lot of legacy this and legacy that, and a lot of Brian Stevens even, unfortunately. But there's only one BuyBizUSA. So anyway, make great things happen. I hope this is helpful. We're going to be continuing to roll out more videos and more information podcasts, etc., to help people learn the process and do really, really well. Take care. If we can help you out, please let us know. And if you got some ideas on other things you'd like us to share, or even some commentary, because I'm kind of new at this, but I love doing sharing and educating, I'd love to hear back from you. So reach out anytime you want. This is, again, Brian Stevens with Legacy Venture Group, and the website is BuyBizUSA. Bye-bye.